Take back America to 1955. Take back America to when God was still alive. Truer words were never spoke or sung. Hi, I'm Darlene McBride. You know, I love this country the way it used to be. Simple-minded with simple values for simple people. But then the big government, the Supreme Court, and those bleeding heart liberals just couldn't leave well enough alone. And now look at it. A big, ugly melting pot just boiling over on what used to be a nice, white stove. That's why I decided to launch my Take Back America tour across this great country. I'll be coming to a city near you, singing inspirational songs filled with traditional values. The Lord loves the NRA. He told me so the other day. He spelled it out in bullets in the sky. He's sitting up in heaven with his AK-47. He's a rough and ready, macho kind of guy. Yeehaw! Excuse me, Mr. Negro, but I'd like to ask you a question. What's so bad about the back of the bus? You still got a seat like the rest of us. I don't understand all the fuss about you sitting in the back of the bus. Nothing would be finer than to drop a bomb on China in the morning. Nothing would be sweeter than to shoot a welfare cheater in the morning. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the effect of illegal immigration on the overburdened healthcare system. Well, here's my solution. Hey, senorita, put down that fajita. Don't tell me you're eating for two. Before you break water, I've got an order that I'm about to give to you. Get your butt back to Mexico. Adios, and that's that. Get your butt back to Mexico. And then have your bread. Mi casa no es su casa, you hear? Take back America.
Be sure to catch Darlene in these cities on her upcoming tour. Laramie, Dallas, Little Rock, Amarillo, Topeka, Rapid City, Des Moines, Duluth, and Paducah.
Let's take it back, y'all. I look forward to taking back America with you. Remember, folks, it is not too late to give this great country of ours a fresh coat of white paint. And you heard that from me, Darlene McBride. Bye-bye.
Amazing. Well, that is the extremely talented Nicole Sullivan there with Mad TV. I wanted to show that. Welcome back, Looney Flo, by the way. I wanted to show that. I wanted to remind people that what we're seeing from these right-wing conservatives is actually not new. They're actually retreading all the greatest hits. Violent video games, you know, the gay panic, you know what I mean? It's what is old is now new. Wokeism just used to mean, you know, if you were woke, that just used to mean you were a hippie, right? It's all the same prejudices. It's all the same fears. I guess the same word, right? But it's all the same shit wrapped up in a fancy new coat of paint, right? Because you got the Tucker Carlsons of the world, the Nick Fuenteses of the world, modifying it and mutating it. Ultimately, core is the same, right? It's just got a different coat of paint on it. One thing I really liked about that clip too, just not to dwell on it, red pill wokeness. Yeah, it's a good term for it. So how you been, Looney Flo? Been good to go? Hopefully. Hello, fellow white brethren. Take back America to 1965. Yeah. No, one thing you know, Mad TV had balls, okay? Because let me show you something. This was during Bush's, right after 9/11. This is right after 9/11. She's doing this, probably within the year. It is interesting because there is several episodes of Mad TV that's very jingoistic, and those were the episodes directly after 9/11. There was one episode even where they make fun of a guy who criticizes racial profiling of Muslims. Red Man and Method Man were in that episode. But watch the crowd reaction when this. Listen to the crowd reaction when the swastika grows across America. People were still very much on board the Bush train. Let me tell you something. Being anti-war after 9/11 was very depressing. I was literally spit on while protesting against the Iraq War.
Laramie, Dallas, Little Rock, Amarillo.
Listen to the crowd.
Topeka, Rapid City, Des Moines, Duluth, and Paducah.
America, let's take it back, yo. I look.
They didn't like that. They don't like to be called what they are. They hate it. What's the definition of fascist? Huh? Folks, what if I told you I have the usual bad news, of course, but I have an inordinate amount of good news today. I'm telling you, today's a weird news day. But it's kind of one of those historical news days. It's kind of a low-key historical news day. Okay? Let me tell you what's on the docket here. Joe Biden signs a same-sex marriage bill into law. We had, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried charged. I mean, not that big a deal, right? But still a big deal. Here's a big one. A moment in history, U.S. researchers announce major nuclear fusion breakthrough. First time. This is not the first time fusion has happened, but this is the first time we've had a net positive energy yield after triggering a fusion reaction. Huge news for mankind. So that's amazing. We have a major strike. We have major strike actions happening all across Europe. All of Europe is looking to get shut down in terms of Christmas. Mars Rover captures first ever sound of a dust devil on Mars. And there might have been a bizarre border skirmish between China and India, where they have an agreement where they don't use guns, but they whack each other with sticks. And then, of course, we have all the Ukraine stuff that you guys want. It's not going to be a 5-hour stream, of course. But I got that combat footage. You know you love it. You know you like to see the missile go boom. I hate it. I don't like watching combat footage at all. I don't get a massive kick out of watching combat footage at all. Okay? I think sick ass missiles and tanks and planes and guns and stuff, they're dumb. I don't think it's cool at all. I don't know what it is about it, guys. I don't know. Maybe this isn't, maybe everyone doesn't feel this way, but when I see those machines, I kind of understand the Brian Williams quote that he's always dogged on for. Brian Williams is always dogged on for saying when talking about when we attacked Fallujah, I think he said something about the glory of our weapons, and he was like quoting a Leonard Cohen song or something, and it is hypnotizing to watch these weapons of destruction in action. It is hypnotizing. That's a great point, Looney Flow. You know what? That's such a great point. Congratulations, Looney Flow. on being a smart guy. But yeah, the government shutdown. But I mean, the thing about the government shutdown is that this is old hat, man. They've been doing this. They've how many times, Davey? What is this? The fifth, sixth time, seventh time? Our economy was, it's about to, everything's going to collapse. Literally, America is no longer good to pay its debts. Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and talk about that as well. I mean,
these two big announcements are coming.
We'll get a Fox News clip in there. Whoa. All right, let's get to it. We don't have fucking time to waste. Let's get to the gay marriage stuff. Gotta get to the gay stuff right away. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, Joe Biden and trap music. Not a good pair. All right, let's get this news in my brain. How's that for a slogan?
Hello, hello, hello.
See, the joke is obvious right there. He's not saying hello to the crowd. He's actually confused about where he is at the moment. It's so easy to do this, right? It's so boring. It's so boring when someone comes in here and is all like, "Oh, Sleepy Joe, he's wearing a diaper." It's like coming from the people who support a guy who actually wears diapers. Man, if I'm this age and I'm not wearing a diaper, yo, give me my props.
Today's a good day. A day America takes a vital step toward equality, toward liberty and justice, not just for some, but for everyone. Everyone.
Hey, all it took was the threat of a fascist takeover for the neoliberals to do something worth a damn. They're very careful about doing things like this because you can't campaign and fundraise on a hot button issue if you've fixed the issue. What would the Democrats be without abortion? I ask you, what would their fundraising look like if they weren't standing up for abortion? Oh man, codify Roe v. Wade into law. Oh man, how can we fundraise off it then? You don't think these people are that craven? Man, wake up.
Creating a nation where decency, dignity, and love are recognized, honored, and protected.
Okay, Sonny and Cher. Wow.
Today, I sign the Respect for Marriage Act into law.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Deciding whether to marry, who to marry, is one of the most profound decisions a person can make.
I tell you, if the neoliberals didn't throw us these kind of bones every once in a while, you know what I mean? I'd be unironically talking about how we need to just, jump into the void. Roblox style.
Marriage, I mean this with all my heart. Marriage is a simple proposition. Who do you love?
Yeah.
And will you be loyal to that person you love?
Yeah. Well, what if you love an attack helicopter, huh? Yeah, got him.
It's not more complicated than that. The law recognizes that everyone should have the right to answer those questions for themselves without the government interference. For most of our nation's history, we denied interracial couples and same-sex couples from these protections. We failed to treat them with equal dignity and respect. And now, the law requires that interracial marriage and same-sex marriage must be recognized as legal in every state in the nation.
Now we talking. Now we're fucking talking. Go ahead and repeal that, Ron DeSantis. Go ahead.
Racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia, they're all connected. But the antidote to hate is love. This law
and good policy. Love is a big part of it, Joe, but good policy is also, kind of nice to have sometimes, man. Okay? Let's be real. Was love enough? Right? Was love enough? Clearly it wasn't. Roe v. Wade annihilated.
The love it defends. Strike a blow against hate in all its forms. And that's why this law matters to every single American, no matter who you are or who you love.
Who do you love? Oh, who? I'm singing, who do you love? Davey over here thinking, so you think FTX, the FTX collab's going to be big news? I mean, it's big news right now, but it's going to be a blip. It's going to be a blip, dude, because there's going to be bigger. There's going to be bigger collapses, right? Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Look at this. Bankman busted. You know it. Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl, he on fire today. I'm not allowed to do that. That's right. I'm sorry. Bankman busted. Bankman busted. He got squeaky whistled. He got cheesy squeaky whistle. Oh, in the Bahama. Squeaky whistle busted in the Bahama. Binance will bring Bitcoin to 2,000. You want to put some money on that? I think you're right. I think you're right. What is it? $40,000, $50,000 for a single Bitcoin? Why? For what? We use it for nothing. It does nothing. Holding on to it, it just eats energy. It's even worse. It's even worse than like gold, because yeah, you got to pay for the storage of gold, but it's gold. It just sits there. It doesn't require energy to move around and maintain. What's the gas fee on some of these big whale sell-offs? Right? How much power does it take? Right? How much are they paying for the energy consumed to get that money out of the blockchain? All right, let's get to it. Let's see. One of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history. It's like, and of course, it's some like Mark Zuckerberg looking motherfucker, right? He's literally, he owns like one suit. He's a fucking he used to be a multi-billionaire. He's got one suit, but I bet he's got a sick ass video game collection. Boy, I'd like a piece of that. You know he's got the sickest video game setup you've ever seen.
His co-conspirator stole billions of dollars from FTX customers. He used that money for his personal benefit, including to make personal investments and to cover expenses and debts of his hedge fund, Alameda Research. Secondly, and relatedly, we charge that Bankman-Fried lied to Alameda's lenders about the source of the money that he was using to pay those debts.
Yeah, Davey. Okay, yeah, Davey over here pointing out that gold is a terrible investment. I don't know about, it's a terrible investment if you want to get rich. It's a good place to park your money. But my point is, when you want to go get your gold, okay, the gas fee is literally the gas it takes to drive there, a truck, and then the labor, and then the storage is you're paying for the warehouse storage, right? And the security, right? But when you want to go get your gold, you go get your gold. You don't have to burn down a rainforest to calculate how you're going to get your gold out of the warehouse, right? And it's like it's sitting there. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. Whereas with Bitcoin, it like, doesn't the blockchain require a certain amount of energy? And like as the blockchain grows, it requires more and more energy to maintain. So the coins that are inside that blockchain, even though they're not doing anything, not going anywhere, they're created, they're there, but they're taking up an inordinate amount of energy just being there, right? You can leave gold in a dark, cold room. It doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything, doesn't need any juice, doesn't need any crackers. You know what I mean? But the digital coin requires energy just to sit. just to be idle. The whole thing's a failure, man. The whole thing's a failure. Right? And because of the failure of this open source project, the government's going to come in, do their own digital currency, and there'll be no alternative, right? This whole idea that it was going to relinquish us, it was going to free our chains from the fiat finance system, and it's proven to be a fucking, all it is a scam. That's the only reason why I own coins, because I want to flip them. The moment the coin, gets higher than I purchase, I'm going to dump this shit quicker. I swear to God, quicker than, fill in the blank.
Third, we charge that earlier this year, in the midst of the crypto crisis, Bankman-Fried lied to investors in FTX about the fact that he had sent billions of dollars in FTX customer money to Alameda. And fourth, we charge that Bankman-Fried violated federal campaign finance laws by causing tens of millions of dollars in illegal campaign contributions to be made to candidates and committees associated with both Democrats and Republicans. These contributions were disguised to look like they were coming from wealthy co-conspirators, when in fact, the contributions were funded by Alameda Research with stolen customer money. And all of this dirty money was used in service of Bankman-Fried's desire to buy bipartisan influence and impact the direction of public policy in Washington.
Whoa, baby Zuckerberg was a little supervillain over here. He wanted to be a George Soros 2.0. Oh, he started playing with the big dogs before he even, held down his bag. Oh, I was hoping he was going to say something like collector anime figurines or something when he said he was spending all the money, like he wasted all his money on on buying every anime figurine and filling mansions with them. I thought he was going to say something stupid like that, but that's even more interesting. So he thought he was a little Machiavelli. He thought he was going to be Mr. George Soros, slinging around money that wasn't his. Interesting. So that was the whole regulation angle. Was his, that's interesting. That is interesting. I mean, what do you think, Davey? I mean, hey, greetings from South Boston. It's your boy Lenny over here. Go Sox. Go Sox. Guitar plicking. Make sure you put your YouTube link there in the chat, Lenny, so everyone can like and subscribe. But I mean, what do you think, Davey? I mean, do you think he was honest in his intention? Arma 2, welcome back. Beautiful video game engine, that Arma engine. Do you think he had honest intention to honestly regulate it, or do you think it was all just kind of a game he was playing to get closer to politicians to manipulate them, like what this guy is saying?
It's so hard to compare these things, but I think it's fair to say that by anyone's lights, this is one of the biggest financial frauds in American history.
Oof. Called himself the most generous billionaire. Oof. He looks like a putz, but it did kind of sometimes seem like maybe he had good intentions, but nah. These money weirdos are just that. They get these weird messiah complexes. They have these very strange Ayn Randian style, libertarian style ideas on how they're going to help society. Their political ideas completely fall flat. Like, hey, they can make a cell phone, they can make a battery, they can make a widget, a gizmo. They can do that all day. Everyone, please like and subscribe on Lenny's YouTube link. He's working hard there, trying to make that YouTube content. Interesting stuff. Accidents waiting to happen. Or there's no, I think your latest one was something about how there are no accidents. So there, and as we've seen with Elon getting booed, right? It's like they have no clue. They're surrounded by people who want to get in their wallet, and they know it, and they love it. They love that other people want them and need them. So when they run into a large group of individuals that want nothing to do with them, they're flabbergasted, shocked. Yeah, someone in a Reddit comment thread, mentioned like, Jeff Bezos would probably be utterly shocked if he were to talk to a person that, was to give him an honest opinion about what he thought about him. If they're not shocked, then they have other coping mechanisms, which are just as fascinating. Like, some will get, abrasive, they'll get, they'll call you jealous. Oh, you're just a hater. All right. So we have a major nuclear fusion breakthrough. What's above Amazon Prime? What is above Amazon Prime? What would that even be? Do you think they have a special? They probably have a special. They probably have a whole special tier for Jeff Bezos. He's number one. He's got to be number one. These executives love that. They love that too. Like they'll when they do like a new office building and it's being numbered, like they'll get to be in office 100, right? Or like 1. If at 1, 2, 3, it's like, oh, I get to be in 1. They're weird like that. They love the titles. They love the little accolades. They're weird people. Cold fusion looks promising. It's for the first time, it's created a positive energy yield. So let's get into it. Enough for my babbling. Have you seen any digital ID stuff? It really is coming soon. I mean, I'd have to really take a look at it. I'd have to really take a look at this whole global digital ID thing, because I want a more connected world. I want to cross borders to other countries without hassle, right? But I'm also extremely pro liberty and freedom, and I'm anti government tracking. So how do I, I want a system that allows me to just cross borders and do whatever the hell I want, but I also don't want to be tracked and have every movement logged. Well, you can't have both. You really don't get both, right? So how do we do? So like, that's a pretty long discussion. I guarantee Amazon has a privateer concierge service for most mega rich. Yeah. I think you're 100% correct there, Davey. Smart cookie there, Davey.
Research and Economics at the ONS Data Science Campus. Arthur, thank you very much for your time. Now, I think most of us woke up this morning not knowing what nuclear fusion is. Clearly, this is a massive scientific breakthrough. Can you just explain to us what is the significance of this experiment?
What's the significance?
Great note, Sam. Speaking in a personal capacity today. So we are witnessing a moment in history.
It's huge.
Controlling the power source of the stars is, I think, the greatest technological challenge humanity has ever undertaken. And scientists have struggled to show that you can get more energy out from fusion than you put in since the 1950s.
Boy, they got the right nerd for this one.
So it's just being confirmed in the press conference now. Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in the US have finally done it. They've smashed this goal. And this is going to electrify efforts to eventually build a clean, carbon-free power source from fusion reactions.
Is it the unicorn of energy sources?
Look, all energy sources have pros and cons. So actually what I think we need is a portfolio of different energy sources. But fusion has some qualities that I think make it really exciting. And that's why people have stuck with it through the decades, even though scientifically it's so difficult. So it's carbon-free. There's enough fuel around just in seawater to keep the world going for thousands, if not millions of years.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any chance of...
Like, if they get it working right, they could have like a tank of water in a spaceship that acts as fucking fuel. Probably go half and half, centralized Fed cone. You're still talking about crypto. What's going on with India? Well, there was an interesting border skirmish with China and India. I'll be showing footage of that. And trust me when I say interesting.
Meltdown. So it's very safe for a nuclear technology. And although it does produce some radioactive waste, it's very low level and is expected to be safe after about 100 years.
What?
And it's only from the container where the reactions happen rather than as a product of the process itself. So for all of those reasons and the fact that it can take up quite a small space and produce lots of energy, people are really excited about fusion. adding to our portfolio of energy sources.
We heard there from the US Energy Secretary that the aim is to have commercial fusion within a decade. Do you think that's actually possible?
That's a really tight timeline. I'm so excited to hear that level of ambition. And, you know, it's never about the number of years. It's always about the amount of investment, the amount of innovation, and the amount of interest. And I think one of the important effects.
But also the fact, is it possible? Is this a viable thing to experiment on? Is this something that's going to be worth my $10 billion R&D investment? And this is it. This shows us right here. Yes, it's worth it. You know, you want to make $100 trillion, win the fusion race, right? You want to be the guy on Time magazine. You want to be, you know, Jeff Bezos is looking at this like, maybe I can live forever. Maybe I can be the guy that, you know, invents usable fusion cells in vehicles and for, you know, we converts our diesel powered transportation and logistics system into a fusion one. Sky's the limit, folks.
Of hitting this goal, net energy gain, is going to be to galvanize people to put that innovation, interest, and investment into fusion to make it a real power source.
Again, just coming back to the science itself, I mean, we've seen what happened with the COVID with pandemic, where people pulled together from all corners of the globe to develop vaccines at a record-breaking pace. Given what you've just said, do you not think with the climate crisis that we're now facing that the pressure is on to develop this source of energy?
Absolutely. Look, we're still using, I think, around 80% of total energy coming from fossil fuels. And apart from climate change, they create terrible problems of air pollution. And many countries around the world don't enjoy the level of energy consumption that, you know, people in the US, the UK, France enjoy. And, you know, energy brings all kinds of great things in life. So if we can get clean energy sources online quicker, then we can do an awful lot of good for society and for humanity. So absolutely the pressure is on, and this seems like a great thing to get scientists working on across the world.
You mentioned there that it's extremely safe, but could it be used for dangerous purposes?
Yeah.
So as I've mentioned, there are various reasons why it's safe.
No, I mean, yeah, it'll be it'll be the power source that fuels all future wars. So of course, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious what, you know, like if a nuclear reactor in a war zone is a pretty dangerous thing, as we've seen right now in Ukraine, right? It's a political chess piece. Does a fusion reactor have the same kind of danger? Probably not. It probably doesn't have this like constantly running reaction, and if the lid is opened up and, you know, radiation spills out, like I don't think that's how it works with fusion.
I think that nuclear fusion is much less of a risk for nuclear proliferation of weapons than nuclear fission is, because what we've learned from the history of nuclear weapons is you always need to have fission and fusion together. You can't do it just with the fusion bit. And the beauty of what people at Lawrence Livermore have done, what other approaches to fusion for energy have done with magnets, is that there's no role for nuclear fission in the process at all. And that means it's almost impossible to turn it to an aim where you'd use a weapon. You've seen how big the National Ignition Facility is, how complicated it is, how it requires all those laser beams. It's just not practical.
It almost sounds like he's talking shit. Oh, it just requires a bunch of laser beams. Yeah, sure, buddy.
But what it could be is a really good peaceful technology for energy.
And finally, what are the practical challenges to overcome to get it to that point where it can be commercially used?
Yeah, there is a long road to go between this scientific.
No, because they'll use fusion reactors in railguns and stuff. I remember I saw a video just a couple months ago about railgun technology, and one of the major issues with railguns is the amount of energy it requires to just fire a single shot. That in the test shot that they did, they had to actually schedule the entire city to have a brownout so that when they fired the weapon, it didn't blow up the fucking power plant that it was connected to. So they had literally had to like shut everyone, boo, okay, and then they fired this massive fucking blast of like one of the most powerful weapons man has ever made. Well, this right there solves the problem, right? You don't need to hook it up to a coal-fired power plant or a nuclear-fired power plant. You can just have, your fission reactor, because this shit, it's a huge ass building right now, but it will get miniaturized.
Demonstration, and
it will get miniaturized and put on a boat, right, on a big aircraft carrier. Davey pointed out in the thing in the Discord that we have basically floating islands. That's how big our aircraft carriers are. So yeah, they want to get a fusion reactor in that motherfucker and hook up a rail cannon to it. Stat. They want to do that right now. They're already talking to these guys about doing it. I guarantee it, dude. Government's in there taking notes.
Commercial viability. And of course, the facility, the clue is in the name, National Ignition Facility, it was only built...
it's the U.S. Department of Energy. So yeah, okay, this whole thing's a government project. So you goddamn with this guy over here talking about it's not going to be a weapon. Shut the fuck up, Poindexter. Shut the fuck up, Poindexter. What are you talking about? It's not going to be a weapon, man. This thing is going to be a weapon before it's anything else. Shut up.
Gas ignition, it was only built to achieve this scientific feasibility. Now, if we think about the things that would have to change to make this commercially viable, this laser can shoot maybe once a day. Actually, for a commercial plant, it would need to fire maybe 10 times a day. The energy that is used to power up the lasers isn't counted in the scientific feasibility. So we need to get to a gain not of 1.2, but to a factor of 30. That's quite a big jump.
Yeah.
And also...
Well, we won't be seeing this until we're old and gray right now. The people currently watch... Well, no offense, Lenny there. He might he might have to witness this one on his floating cloud, playing one of his expensive, super awesome guitars that he's got. He'd be like, nice, go humans.
Of course, the most important thing, it's got to be economical as well. Now, we don't know whether those things will be true or not, but...
I know what a white helmet is. I know what a blue helmet is. The fuck is a gold helmet? Where is she? Black Mesa?
These are really engineering and economics challenges. They're much easier than this initial scientific challenge, and they're not things we've put lots of resources in. And of course, there are lots of other promising approaches to fusion that might eventually be more economical as well. So I think people are really optimistic now that we've broken through this scientific barrier.
Arthur Turrell, thank you so much again.
Great. Thank you, Arthur. You're the perfect nerd for this story, dude. I'm so glad I picked this one. The perfect nerd. He can't fathom a use he can't even picture how this could even be used militarily. Isn't that adorable? Isn't that adorable? I can't even he couldn't even really picture it. That's just adorable. Arthur over here. We should all be a little bit more like Arthur. Just a little bit naive. He's adorable. All right, so we got some UK news. UK news. Good thing about UK is that it's basically red, white, and blue. There we go. Boom. UK news. I know we already passed the SBF news, but here's a video of SBF being escorted out of the courthouse today in handcuffs. We can do that. I mean, I probably should have showed that. You know me, I don't like to show the shit that literally every other news station shows. Like with the Kanye stuff, it was like, okay, is there literally any new information on this? No. Oh, wow. Nice watermark. Give me that watermark. Yeah, boy. There we go. Yeah, you got anything to say, you scumbag? Want my money back. Caught him in the Bahamas. Come on, bro. Fucking Bahamas, bro. Fuck. SWAT team and shit. I don't think you needed all that. I really don't. I honestly think you could probably have handled the entire thing with one person. You know what I mean? What is he going to bust out the AK and start click clacking? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't even think he could handle a gun in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? This guy's more of like a Civilization player. No offense to the Civ players out there. Great game. You know what I mean? I bet his aim was terrible in CSGO. I bet he couldn't even play a proper support role in Team Fortress 2. You probably could have just walked up there and be like, oh, hi, sir. Mr. Are you Sam Bankman fried chicken? Yeah? Well, you're going to have to come with me. You're actually under arrest for fraud. Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah, look, they got the whole fucking posse. I mean, look at this guy. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Is the Punisher gonna peek around the corner with a claymore and fuck your day up to free Sam Bankman fried chicken? Come on. This is I mean, it's obvious theater, but it's just a come on. It's dumb. I got the AK just in case, sir. Just in case. It would have been funny, though, if he came out shooting. You guys, if I would really prefer you guys to provide these extra videos on the topics while I'm talking about the topics. Okay, so we have this 90-second video on plasmids. This Looney Flo was talking about plasmids in the chat. Plasmoids. I'm saying plasmids like
Plasmoids
Bioshock.
is a term first coined by Winston Bostick in 1956 to describe a self-contained plasma entity. These entities can take on a variety of shapes, including cylinders and most commonly toroid-shaped. Their defining features are that the magnetic field they produce is trapped inside of the structure, wrapping around the outer circumference of the shape, and this causes the current to flow inside and enables it to maintain its shape for a prolonged period of time. Large plasma clouds may therefore actually be large plasmoids. If these plasmoids collapse due to Bennett pinching or gravitational collapse, they can store a vast amount of energy and release this in the most spectacular way. In the lab, it has been demonstrated that these plasmoid structures can store a vast amount of magnetic energy in a very small space, and through its release, this energy very rapidly creates oppositely charged jets of electrons and ions. They are used to describe a large variety of phenomena, including ball lightning, coronal discharge from the sun, quasars, and black holes in an electric and plasma universe.
So we're talking about mankind harnessing this kind of power. It's nuts.
They are also considered
It's truly the power cosmic.
a key line of research in the quest for sustaining nuclear fusion.
I mean, Jesus Christ, look at that thing. What the fuck is this?
A key line of research in the quest for sustaining nuclear fusion.
Jesus. Amazing. Well, thank you, Looney Flo, for that supplemental video on fusion reactors, nuclear fusion. I'm telling you, it's historic. It's historic. I've said this before, and let me repeat this. Currently, mankind, the limitations that we are running into when it comes to science, medical science, energy science, fill in the blank science. What's getting in the way is not our creativity. We're not running into we're not running out of things to experiment on. We're not running out of discoveries. The hurdle is politics. The hurdle is restrictions being placed on these things by arbitrary factors that are easily surmountable. So I want people to frame this correctly, because it can often feel like, oh, it's just like, this is it. This is the end of history. It's all over. It's not. We're not even close to discovering the secrets, right? There's so many known unknowns, right? So come on. This is great news. Be happy. Abandon that nihilism. Bob that head. right? All right, so we're moving on to UK news. Travel disruption as major train strike begins amid threat of nursing walkout. Someone's ready, what I like to see. So yeah, in the UK right now, man, you better hope you got a remote job. Catching the bus is a nightmare. Catching the train's a nightmare. And look, people want to blame the strikers. They want to blame the railroad workers. Okay. They want to blame the people in the unions. Okay. A lot of people do because it's easy and convenient. Okay. But here's the thing. They are human beings. They deserve fair wages. And when you look at what they're asking for, it's not too much, especially when you look at the leadership, the executives of, that are in charge, that are walking away with multi-million-dollar paychecks. Okay? So the whole situation is lopsided, and it's shocking to hear Rishi Sunak call union barons, oh, you're just listening to the evil unions, and vilifying something that makes people's lives demonstrably better, right? 8-hour workday, minimum wage, I could go on, right? Health benefits. It's not perfect, okay, but it's the best we got. And to hear an entire political party, oh, fuck them. People should be slaves, basically. You should work for what the oligarchy pays you and be happy about it. Fuck you. Is government going to step in there as well? In what?
A story you know all about, probably. No one said travelling by train today was going to be easy. The start of the first 2-day Christmas holiday strikes by the RMT union made it near impossible. Just 1 in 5 services were running today. Most of Scotland and Wales had none at all. And this was just day 1 of 4 days this week. Oh, joy. With more to come after that.
And you see this, we see a lot of this. We see a lot of the media, kind of taking the side of the government here and vilifying these strikers. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're just talking about the inconvenience of all of it, and they're just trying to express their general discontent, like British people do so well. But a lot of the time, it's like, I can't believe that these people would use this incredibly critical and important moment where these companies that are ripping them off are going to make their most money, that they're using this time to inconvenience me and inconvenience everyone else, when all I want to do is, spend time with my family and spend my money and, live my happy life. And I don't really care about the suffering of others. That's exactly what he says.
First light in Carlisle as the RMT strike began. At stations across the railway network, 80% of services were cancelled. Public opinion will influence how and when this dispute is resolved.
I think it's been going on for too long. Just get it done once and for all. No, every month. It's crazy.
I'm supporting them. I think you're absolutely right.
It's the best price on the market. It's the rail strike special.
From York to Leamington Spa, footfall in
That looks like garbage. Cool.
Towns and city centres thinned at a crucial time of year.
£8. £8. That ain't bad for a little glass angel ornament. £8. Not bad.
Yeah, for many businesses.
They're not really thinking about the small businesses like us. People's livelihoods are at stake.
And of course, he's going to be a business owner. Is going to have this opinion that they should just suck it up, and they should just accept less. They should just accept less, like my employees, who I barely pay, who I do everything possible to pay as little as possible. They should just deal with it.
If they did it in February.
Yeah, if they did it in February when it's far less effective, then maybe I wouldn't complain. Really? You wouldn't bitch about it then too? When they do it in a time that doesn't work, when they have no leverage? Yeah. You should really, you should fight back, but you should fight back with both your arms tied behind your back. That would convenience me so much.
It might be better, but this...
No. For you, not the people who haven't gotten a raise in 4 years and are being proposed outrageous things. Like they threw in this new thing. Apparently the drivers have mandated that these train companies do not install any automatic driving systems, that every train is piloted by a human being. And there's arguments back and forth there, but at the last second the government just decided to throw this thing in there, right? Basically just a whole poison pill right there. Of course, this guy doesn't know the nuance of any of this. All he sees is that his sales are down and people should just give up, right? Don't you love guys like this? Man, you inconvenienced me for 5 seconds. You should die. You should live a lesser life, right? Same kind of person that's like, oh, you blocked me in traffic. I should be able to run you over. I should be able to commit vehicular homicide because I can't get to the fucking grocery store in time. Oh, I'm late for my meeting. Oh no. Oh no. Right. There are the cases, of course, but the blocking traffic is a really nasty one to bring up, though, because there are legitimate cases for not blocking traffic, and we've had a lot of debates about the effectiveness of that tactic, and we can go back and forth on that. I think we found some good compromises, though. Activists should talk to me and Davey. We got it all figured out.
This is the worst time to take strike action.
For you. For them, boy, it's got them paying a lot of attention, doesn't it?
The government insists pay restraint in the public sector is necessary to tame inflation, but nurses have endured years of pay restraint.
And don't you love that? The only solution to inflation is lowering wages. That's all they got. That's all they got. Bank bailouts and lower wages. That's the solutions for everything. Wow. There's no wealth. We can't redistribute the multi-trillions of dollars being clogged up by massive organizations and individuals. We can't take some of that money back. Can't raise taxes on anything else. No, we just got to pay you less. Yeah, you, the middle class schmuck who can barely get by and can't even afford a house anymore. Yeah, you got to accept less so that we can have our gangbusters economy again. I mean, we're still making money hand over fist, but we can make so much more money hand over fist. You know what I mean? So you got to take the pay cut, bud.
Sector is necessary to tame inflation, but nurses have endured years of pay restraint already and have had enough. Unless a last-minute settlement can be found, nurses begin strike action on Thursday.
Yeah, you goddamn right. You goddamn right. Look at the numbers. Okay? There's not a lack of money. There's not a lack of resources. Not at all. This is like a Thatcher kind of thing, right? Where it's like, not one step back. We won't let the pros have this one. That's what this is.
Tonight, the Prime Minister.
It's economic warfare.
The settlements that we've put in place are reasonable, they're fair.
Fuck you,
they're
bitch.
suggested by independent bodies.
Independent bodies that just so happen to be super conservative, I bet. I don't even need to look at them to know it. Such horse shit. I've heard Mick Lynch talk about this deal, this super fair, awesome deal that he's talking about. It's not fair. It's barely enough. And they're not asking for much. This guy is such a fucking slick charlatan liar, man. Get him out of office.
And that's why I think it's the right thing to do. And that's why I'd urge all the union leaders to think about the disruption they're causing millions of people, particularly at Christmas.
Oh, he cares so much about them. That's why he just passed a bill to raise their taxes. Fuck you. Cares so much. Put most of the tax burden right back on the people, right? Couldn't be bothered to tax the moneyed oligarchy and the corporations. Can't do that.
Try and bring an end to these strikes.
Industrial unrest has been building since the summer. 417,000 working days were lost to strike action in October. That's nowhere near 1970s levels. In October 1979, 3.5 million working days were lost. But we do face another winter of discontent. And it's little wonder the unions are on the march. Have a look at this. Regular pay, adjusted for inflation, fell by almost 3%.
Rishi Sunak calling this shit fair.
in October, the 12th
Whatever the fuck that
monthly
means.
fall in a row. The surge in price rises has left everyone poorer, but some are poorer than others. The gap between pay growth in the public sector and the private sector has never been wider.
That's right.
At King's Cross Station in London tonight, all departures were cancelled. Meanwhile, dissent is spreading. Tomorrow, Royal Mail workers hold a 48-hour strike of their own as their dispute over pay and conditions rolls on. John Hills.
It's almost like there's a single factor here. It's almost like there's a singular element that's pushing back on some of these common sense requests coming from, government workers. What could it be? What could be the party of individuals that could be pushing back on all this common sense, treating people like human beings stuff? Ah, man, we got to make sure to not talk about that. I'm just noticed a lot of this coverage, I mean, they did an interview with Rishi Sunak, but a lot of the coverage just kind of ignores that the conservatives are not offering a fair deal. And, it's this isn't coming from nowhere. Okay. This is them, gripping their monocle tight and saying, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve. What are you going to do? Buy drugs with it? Oh yeah. Okay. You going to buy some McDonald's with that? You're not going to buy a house, that's for sure. I made that impossible, right? They don't trust you with money. They think you don't deserve it. They would prefer you to rent and loan everything for your entire life, your entire, toiling existence. You just borrow everything from them for a fee, and then when you die, it just, it's recycled and put and given to someone else and reused as necessary or thrown away. That's the ideal situation. That's what their fucking Davos shit is all about. That's what that shit's all about. It's about their neo-feudalism that they want. No? Nobody? Okay, I guess I'm just insane. It's maybe that Kanye's got the right idea. Maybe it's just the Roblox. I'm afraid to say the J word now. We got Mars rover, nuclear fusion. Man, I love today's stream. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger on my YouTube. I'm gonna buy 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna do it. I probably shouldn't admit that because I'm gonna upload this video to YouTube and then there'll be evidence of. I mean, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
That would have been appropriate a couple minutes ago, actually. Buy Build AI. NASA's Perseverance rover had its microphone on when the whirling tower of red dust was similar to the one passed directly overheard last year. Capture about 10 seconds of not only rumbling sounds of Mars. It's quieter though, since Mars's thin atmosphere makes for more muted sounds and less forceful wind. Oh, I want to hear that one more time. Turn it up for you. It's wild to me. It's totally wild to me. Wow. It's wild to me in how mundane it is, it's just, because like we're so like Mars and Planet X and, and it's just like, oh, it's just another planetoid, it's just another one, and it's got all the normal shit that happens on every planetoid. But there's just something so amazing about that, about how normal it is, how common it is. You know, it's just so far away, right? Yeah. Lenny, just to answer your question there, it costs about $150. I think it's like 120 or 130. Let me look. I still have the tab open here. Let me see. Buy YouTube subscribers. Let's see. Useviral.com. How much is 1,000 again? Let's see. Yeah, it's $150. Ooh, and there's a 25% off sale. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it maybe, I don't know, maybe next Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. I'll do it. I just want to stream. I just want to stream on YouTube again. So here we go to our Indian and Chinese news. Crazy stuff. I mean, this is just bonkers, and I have the perfect thing on my soundboard for this one. I tell you what. So check this out. Eventually. Hello? Come on. Let's do a reload. Come on. So there's some confusion as to whether this happened recently, like just a couple days ago, or if this was a similar incident that happened in 2020. Okay, well, this video isn't working. Let me go ahead and pull up. I actually have several links because your boy Davey was all over this. So let me just get that one out. Here we go. From Twitter, from Elon Musk's Twitter. Here we go. Thank you, Davey, once again, being on top of it. So, what in the fuck is going on? There's my Benny Hill. Don't I have Benny Hill? Oh, there he is. FTX hype. FTX hype. I'm gonna be a billionaire. To the moon. To the moon. Okay. So apparently, according to Davey, this might have happened in this specific one that we're watching might have happened in 2021. Davey said that there was a screenshot of a news article from this video from 2021. Let me explain what the hell's going on. So this is a territorial border. I was on Team FTX. Yeah. Whoa, boy, bad call. Good. Well, yeah. You are a good judge of character, sir. You are a good judge of character. Yeah. You wanna help me build an app? Oh, later. Oh, goodbye. Well, let me just go ahead and ban you on your way out because you're a piece of shit, and I don't really like pieces of shit. I mean, it's not like I eat pieces of shit for breakfast, but I do eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. Thanks, asshole. That could have been funny, and you ruined it. So, yeah. So there's a territorial border between India and China, and they have a weird deal. They have a weird deal where they have agreed that if they do clash with each other, the two countries, that they will clash each other each other using only melee weapons. So that's what you see here. This is apparently something China does all the time, I guess. Because this is like Davey said, in 2020, the fight seriously broke off, and 24 people died, beating each other to death. Why? I mean, for what? For literally what? Could you imagine losing your life for this? It's like losing your life because you planked off a McDonald's sign and the wind blew you off it. You know what I mean? Like, what a waste. What a waste. I can't wait to commit securities fraud. Bro, he got to live like a billionaire for like over 5 years. He beat us all. How cool is that? You get to live like a billionaire? I've never even been on a yacht. I've literally never even been on one. Ran to the Bahamas. So yeah, they're really hitting them with sticks. And it ain't no joke. Come and get me, Secretary of State. Oh, what are you the U.S. government? Oh, what are you gonna do? Arrest me? Oh, you're gonna extradite me? Yeah, right. I'm Sam Bankman Fried Chicken. Damn, dude, they're getting smucked. Looks like it hurts. And they were literally ordered to just get as close to the border as possible and just get hit by sticks. That was the order. Because what are they doing? They're just standing there. They don't even know what to do. Look at these guys. Look at the front row right here. What are they even doing? They're just waiting to get smacked. They're like climbing. This is hilarious. They're like climbing over. Oh, this is like the wall, the barrier wall right here. Oh, okay. I thought they were climbing over each other. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that stone. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, this is too easy. It's seriously too easy. It's too easy. Gotta speed it up. Where's my, there's no speed controls on Twitter. If it wasn't so ridiculous and absurd, it would truly be gut-wrenchingly funny, but it's actually more sad than it is funny, but but apparently there was a similar border that we don't have any footage of right now that happened on the 9th of December. So we got footage of the 2020, 2021. I'm sure we'll get footage of the new one. It's like people wanted footage so bad that they recycled old footage. That's so funny. Yeah, so we got the fucking the budget. Yeah, government shutdown. I'm so sick and tired of this. And once again, it's a failure of the neoliberals. You know what I mean? Because it's like they know that the Republicans are going to do this. They had a supermajority. Well, you couldn't get you just couldn't get Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema on board to prevent the Republicans from doing. Then attack them. Then get them off committees. Then make their life a living hell, like you do progressives. No. I'd rather work on a bipartisan basis with Joe Manchin, even though he's literally taking a dump in my cereal in front of everybody, and it makes me look like a weak pussy. Makes me look like a terrible leader. I have no control over my own party. I refuse to even punish the people that go against my wishes and go against my agenda, making me look stupid. I pat him on the back and say thank you, because I'm a strong leader. I'm sick of this. Sick of this. The reason why this happens is so that, and the neoliberals are on board for this because the neoliberals haven't fixed this, and they could have several times. Obama had a supermajority, didn't fix it. The budget government shutdown bullshit became a thorn in his side. Right? Same thing with Biden here. Had a supermajority, knew it was coming up, didn't do anything. Why do they want this? Then why do they want this, right? Because this is what happens. The Republicans say we're going to shut down the government unless you let us, pass some, incredibly stupid, tax cuts for the rich or fill in the blank, corruption along with it, or else we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. So then the neoliberals, who secretly want to pass that legislation anyway because their donors want them to, are like, oh shucks, golly gee, I had to capitulate. I had to capitulate on my values one more time to the Republicans who I just hate, and to avoid a shutdown of the government and and our debt, and our financial system blowing up because we can't pay our bills. Oh fine, I'll have to agree and pass into law this incredibly, corrupt legislation along with, the budget. And it's this little game that they play. It's this little theater that they play, and they think we're all fucking stupid. A lot of us are, because we say, oh, they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. And then we vote DNC and vote DNC and vote DNC.
As Congress is getting closer to a major deadline. They have until Friday to pass a budget to prevent a government shutdown. At the center of the conflict is a push from progressive lawmakers to pass parts of their social spending plan while they still can. The new Congress, with a Republican majority, takes office in just a few weeks. Some Republicans want to wait until they have the power to decide where the money goes.
Time to get this done, not play political games, and put the full faith and credit of the United States unnecessarily at risk.
What deeply, deeply worries me at a time of near record debt and soaring inflation is that the only way they'll come up with a deal is by adding on a whole lot of additional things, none of which are paid for.
And this is Fox News, and I guess they're just not going to mention that the party responsible for most of the pork is the Republicans. Are they just going to ignore that part?
Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, is optimistic. She is predicting a major inflation cool down in 2023.
Okay. There's your little dose of cancer there. Sorry, Fox News. But yeah, so I've given you my thoughts. It's theater. It gives cover to the neoliberals to pass corrupt right-wing legislation that they all want to do anyway. Right? They jump on it. If they have full cover, if they have full moral cover to be corrupt, like they did with the infrastructure bill, oh, they do it with smile. Oh, yay. Okay, yeah, I'll give my donors exactly what they want. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I don't even have to pretend like I don't want to do this. Oh, boy. They do it right in front of us. It's just that none of us has the time to watch, C-SPAN 17.
Today we're going to do a vote on the budget proposal, and I'm going to go to Roblox and cut off my penis. They've left me in the booth for 6 hours, and I'm still here, and I don't know, I'm just going to cut my penis off.
No one has time to sit through C-SPAN. So they just do it in front of everybody. They just do it in front of everybody.
Today on C-SPAN 17, I've cut my penis off, and I'm going to display it in a glass bottle, like a ship in a bottle, except it's going to be my penis. Looks like Kristen Sinema is going to vote no on Build Back Better. Anyway, my penis is now inside the bottle.
I've been watching way too much Mad TV, dude. I've been watching a lot of Mad TV lately. Okay, leave me alone. making a lot of really insane and gross jokes. It's a funny bit. That's a Mad TV skit in the making right there. Damn, dude, this song rules. What the fuck is this? I Have One Chance. I'm sorry, that was too loud for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can blast your eardrums. Okay, we're moving on to Ukraine news. I know, that's what we're all here for anyway. We want that Ukraine update. Couldn't find a Denny or a Russian video or Russian dude video, so if, I'll take one last peek after the combat footage to see if we can get one, but we do have everyone's favorite TVP world. Not just war porn, though. I saved the war porn at the end like a money shot. Everyone appreciates that. Money shots should go at the end. Right?
And I cut off my penis.
Thank you, DCH. Military Mind. This is literally war porn, the show, though. It literally is.
Hello, I'm David Kennedy, and welcome to Military Mind. The Donbass is still seeing the heaviest fighting in Ukraine. According to Ukrainian army sources, the bridge between Melitopol and Kostiantinovka, a strategically important crossing for the Russians, has been damaged. Ooh. It was using this bridge that Putin's army brought in arms and supplies from the east, said Melitopol Mayor Ivan Fyodorov.
Man, so what happened was, I can't show the footage on the stream because there's like literally dead Russian bodies everywhere, but they blew up a hotel that was just filled with Russian soldiers. They were using it as like a place where Russian soldiers could probably rest and relax in between shifts going to the front lines, right? They're probably rotating troops going through there, and they can rest and relax for like a day or a couple days, get a decent night's sleep. Well, they didn't get a decent night's sleep that night. I don't know how many HIMARS hit the place, but it looked like Apocalypse Now. It looked like that acid scene from Apocalypse Now, the one with the grenade launcher where he fires it off, It looked apocalyptic. Just dead bodies everywhere, dead and injured bodies everywhere. The building barely existed, and what was left was on fire. Yeah, quite a wake-up call for the soldiers there in Melitopol. I mean, they had to have known. I mean, they're in range. They're in range. Every armchair general is like, yo, they're not going to cross that Dnipro River. They're going to be going through Melitopol. They're going to fucking split you right in two. Where the fuck is Russia? Oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Just chill. Just chill in this hotel that's obviously filled with Russian soldiers.
Footage of the site available online shows that part of the bridge has collapsed. Ukraine's Energy Minister Herman Halushchenko has announced that all reactor units at the Ukrainian-controlled nuclear power stations have been brought back online following the November 23rd shutdown, triggered by another wave of Russian strikes targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Military aid flowing to embattled Ukraine sometimes features rarer or lesser-known weapon systems. One example is the French RT-61 heavy mortar, a design so good, even the Russians have copied it. Likely donated by Belgium, the RT-61 weighs roughly 580 kilograms and is mounted on a two-wheeled trailer. When deployed for firing, the mortar rests on a heavy triangular stop plate, and depending on the type of munitions used, the mortar can strike targets anywhere between 7 and 13 kilometers away.
What the fuck? I think the thing's coming out pretty slow.
Here's a story of a Russian tank.
That's kind of slow. Is that just the frame rate of the camera?
Strike targets anywhere between 7 and 13 kilometers away.
Oh, okay. They slowed down the video. That's okay. That's why they slowed down the
13
fucking
kilometers
video.
away.
Whoa, dude.
Here's a story of a Russian tank, or 4 tanks to be more precise.
Well, the Russian dude just had his whole channel demonetized because, you know, the Russians will, you know, Russian bots and, you know, and anyone else who doesn't like honest news will weaponize the moderation system, you know, mass downvote, you know, report, he's showing violence, he's terrible. It doesn't matter if you're like, you know, if you're the most vanilla shit ever. You know, you will have groups that weaponize it. And the robot, basically the way the robot works is that if you're not Mr. Beast, if you're not literally squeaky clean, then it's like, okay, no money for you. No, we're just not going to mess with you. I don't know. Some people said some shit about you, bro. I don't know, man. I don't want to fuck with you anymore. And it's like, doesn't matter if it's true or not. You get fucking de-algoed.
While they tried hard to conceal their position, they had the misfortune of being located by Ukrainian aerial recon units. And that was the beginning of the end for them.
Project Pat don't give a fuck. Project Pat don't give a fuck.
Слава Україні!
Bro, it's a Memphis. It's a fucking mafia 3-6 mafia hook. Ooh, boy, those Russians know how to make a tank to blow up. Oof. Better be careful. They might have bodies. Nope. Okay.
Freezing temperature.
When the bomb dropped, when the missile killed 2 people in Poland, TVP World for like a week straight was showing like really gory, bloody shit. They were not hiding the fucking truth during that week.
Across Ukraine mean much tougher fighting conditions. But when the morale remains high, even black ice might seem fun. In the video, you're about to see
They show a really bad one at the end. Let's see here. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, not at the end, but yeah. I'll get the censor button ready.
A Ukrainian unit takes a Humvee for a spin on a frozen road.
I'll get the censored button ready.
Putting
Thank
on
you.
quite the drifting show in the process. Third Force, a volunteer Ukrainian unit that's been fighting in the Donbass since 2014, has surfaced online. In the footage, the Third Force troops are targeting the notorious savage Wagner Group mercenaries.
I'll just view it here and I'll show you what I can show you. Yeah, so these are a couple groups. I can definitely show you the first part here. This is it looks like what they're doing is that they're moving some injured soldiers.
The Third Force troops are targeting the notorious savage Wagner Group mercenaries.
So we see the injured guy there, and there's going to be another group here. It's like a group of three groups. They usually in a very macabre fashion will time the explosion with the beat drop. So one sec.
На концерт буде тобі враже, як залужний скаже. Руський мір зітрем до пилу, звільнимо усю країну, буде тобі враже, як Залужний скаже.
Like he's still alive and like looking at like his blown up, his like, holy shit. Holy shit. Whoa, dude. I don't know if he has legs left. He's in the wrong position. He's all twisted around like a Clive Barker movie, dude. Holy fuck. Look, you want to see this for yourself. I don't believe in censorship, but Twitch does. You want to see it for yourself? There it is. I got a timestamp for you. Holy shit. That was a direct hit.
Трем до пилу, звільнимо усю країну, буде тобі враже, як Залужний скаже. Часткова мобілізація.
He's alive. No, his torso wasn't twisted around. His torso was not twisted around. He's getting up. Someone got up. He's getting up. Whoa, dude. That is crazy, man. I cannot show that. I wish I could, but whoa, dude. Whoa.
Fuel-air explosives, also known as thermobaric munitions, are highly effective against enemy troop concentrations. In the hands of Russians, however, the TOS-1 MLRS system, capable of firing thermobaric warheads, has been used mostly against civilians and cities. Fuel-air explosives use an aerosol mixture of flammable materials which burn in microseconds, sucking up all the oxygen from the surrounding air to produce a high-temperature explosion. Russia has already used thermobaric weapons.
Don't let the fancy nerd words throw you off, okay? What he just said basically means you will vomit up your lungs in about 5 milliseconds. Okay, 1 minute you have lungs, the next minute you're vomiting them up. That's the negative pressure. It's like being teleported out into fucking space.
In Chechnya
worse,
and
actually.
supplied them to the Assad regime to use in the Syrian civil war. The clip you're about to see shows the town of Novoselivsk in the Luhansk region attacked by thermobaric warheads.
Yeah, I showed this footage already, but it's good to show a second time. Let's just go ahead and slow it down. You can see exactly what he's talking about here. Because it's very quick. It's not like it's not like a video game like Valorant where it creates a bubble or something. But it's this pressure wave that goes out. And you can kind of see it there for a second. Go back. You can see it kind of go out. And I think outside there's, outside that immediate area, there's it's also there, but it's like it's visible. You can actually see it right there. Tell you. The weapons man creates to kill itself. Okay. What is this, the music from Batman? Give it a rest. All right, what's the last video they have queued up? Let's just get to it. Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's going down. Oh, shit. The drone goes up for a better angle. Oh, he's going in for... Oh, that fucker's on fire, dude. He's going in for a hot-ass landing. That bitch is on fire. Ooh, oh, and that's it. No, you can't see the pilot come out. Oh, maybe. Russia, get the fuck out of Ukraine. What are you doing? Seriously. You're making a goddamn fool of yourself. Get out of Ukraine. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, it could also just be flames blowing out as well. It's hard to tell. It's not like you see someone like, ah! Yeah. It's weird that he was really trying to bring it down gentle, and the whole thing was turning into a raging inferno really quick, and he just didn't bring it down quick enough, and it hit and then went forward, then the rotors caught, and then the whole thing fell over, and then flames. Oof. International donors pledge about $1 billion in civilian aid for Ukraine. Well, they need every penny, and looks like this is aid specifically for civilians. Yeah, that was probably, it was probably he was probably trying to bring it down gentle, and the flames just caught up to him and got too hot, and he had to bring it down hard. A fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. A fate I wouldn't wish on Nick Fuentes. Right, to be in that helicopter. How the Russian people can allow their leaders to put them and their loved ones in that helicopter it's shameful. It's a crime against humanity. What can I say? There's one entity to blame. It's Putin and the Russian government. I named two. What am I, an idiot? I'm a moron. I'm literally a satire.
International donors meeting in Paris have pledged €1 billion in aid to help Ukrainians survive the winter. Ukraine is represented at the meeting by Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal. The money will mainly go towards keeping the civilian population fed and warm.
Excellent.
Russian missile attacks have left millions without water, power or heat. DW correspondent Lisa Louis is at the conference in Paris. I asked her how the €1 billion pledged compares with the amount Ukraine actually needs.
Mr. Zelensky, he spoke this morning at the beginning of this international conference, and he put his own figure on the table. That was 800 million euros. As you can see, 1 billion is above that. What's really important now is that Ukraine does not only need money, they need other supplies, they need generators, they need gas turbines, they need spare parts, they need, help with civil engineering, with engineering services. And that is exactly what the dozens of countries that have come together and the international.
So, I mean, the Russian media is going to completely ignore this, of course, and there's going to be no repeating of this information. But guys, the terrorism strategy isn't working. You wasted all your resources and all your missiles to blow up hospitals and, schools and playgrounds for nothing. For nothing. Not only is this shit going to get rebuilt immediately after your defeat, Russia, but eventually you will probably end up having to pay back a good chunk of the money that for the shit that you blew up. I have a strong feeling that in like a decade or maybe even 5 years, who knows, but when the discussions finally start about Russia rejoining civilized society and rejoining the economic markets, that fines or extra fees to cover the reconstruction of Ukraine will be part of those negotiations. He's just completely fucked himself. He's just completely fucked. The strategy that he's using, all this human suffering that he's causing, right, for nothing. It's not even working. Terrorism in the U.S. is mostly a white male thing. Pretty much. It would be horrifically refreshing if there was like a woman mass shooter, right? Don't get me wrong. Women have the capability to be mass killers, but it's different. You know, they don't get all armored up and pretend they're Soldier Boy, right? They smother 300 babies. They're like a nurse at a hospital, and they slip people medicine to give them heart attacks and shit. You know what I mean? Different.
National organizations that also came together this morning here
Of course,
have promised to Ukraine. So it looks like, at least when you look at the paper, on the paper, it looks like Ukraine is really getting what it is asking for at this very moment.
OK, and it's important to stress that we're talking about civilian aid. We're not talking about tanks and weapons. But this is the fourth of these Ukraine donor conferences this year. Is there anything different about this from the other three?
Well, there is actually, temperatures are dropping. It's getting colder, not only here in Paris, but also in Ukraine, obviously. And as President Emmanuel Macron has been underlining over the past few days, and today again, Russian military they are targeting civilian infrastructure, electricity infrastructure. Mr. Zelensky today said that 12 million Ukrainians are not connected to the power grid right now. So there is a lot of urgency to provide very fast help, support for these people that are struggling, that they don't have light, they don't have heating in Ukraine, and that's exactly what international donors want to help with. And there's also one other thing, the international community has put in place what they call a platform, a coordination platform to better coordinate what Ukraine needs and what the different countries have already provided, so that it really fits to the Ukrainian purpose, what the international community is providing for the country.
And the delegations are also meeting business leaders. What's being discussed there?
Exactly, they're meeting here at the Economics Ministry right now. 700 companies have come together, French companies that are either already active in Ukraine or want to work in the country. What this is about, it's not just about reconstruction after the war, it's also about being active now, helping with reconstructing the country while the war is still ongoing. When zones of Ukraine, certain areas are liberated, they want to reconstruct the economy there, the electricity infrastructure, bridges, railways. There were a few agreements signed here today with a figure of 100 million euros in different sectors, and lots of French companies are determined to participate in this reconstruction effort. As Emmanuel Macron, the French president, put it, he said Ukraine can only be reconstructed if it has a strong economic backbone that is already there when the war finally ends.
Thank you for that. Lisa Louis in Paris.
Lisa Louis, awesome name.
Well, that money, of course, is needed because repeated Russian attacks on civilian infrastructure since it invaded Ukraine in February have left millions in the cold and dark. In our next report, Ukraine correspondent Nick Connolly compares the support Ukraine has so far been promised with what it's actually received.
We will continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Since the very beginning of this war, we worked very hard together in order to help Ukraine to resist and to be resilient.
Is that a real fire? Is that a real fire? That fucker is raging. If that's a real fire, it's got to be hot as hell sitting there, dude. It's got to be like 90 degrees sitting next to that fucking thing. Look at it go.
Very hard together in order to help Ukraine to resist.
That's got to be a video. That's got to be so hot.
Be resilient.
And we, the European Union, stand here by them in these very difficult times as long as it takes.
I asked the real questions, okay? No excuses.
But how generous have European governments really been? 9 months into this war on its doorstep, and Europe has only just caught up with the United States.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to shit on rescue workers. I really don't, okay? But what is this?
War on its doorstep.
Hold on. What is this man doing? What is happening?
Generous
Hold on,
have European
look at this.
governments really been? 9 months into this war on its doorstep.
Right here, this guy. What's this? What is this?
And Europe has only just caught up with the United States.
Why does he have two? Why does he have a friend? Why does he need help doing this? Is he? What is this? I'm sorry. I just don't know what this is. Is this a toddler dressed up as a firefighter having some kind of temper,
9 months into this war on its doorstep, and Europe has
kind of
only just
tantrum?
caught up with the United States.
I hate these Brits.
The Kiel Institute for the World Economy says the EU and European governments have now together pledged 52 billion euros, compared with 48 billion from the US. That might sound like a lot, but it's less than a tenth of what the EU is spending on its own post-COVID recovery program.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. that is really the cherry on top of all this, is that the Western Alliance is paying to easily defeat the Russian military with basically couch money. with nothing. World War II, keep calm and carry on. This is not okay. This is it's a lot of money to you and me. To governments, $100 billion, $1 billion. What are you talking about? $1 billion. Is that it? $1 billion. I'm not even going to come to the meeting. Yeah, here, I'll just sign the paper. Here you go. Fuck it. You're talking about $1 billion. It's nothing.
And then there's the question of timing.
And Russia's military is just getting handily defeated with nothing. The UK spending way more on their COVID program than they are helping Ukraine.
Experts criticize that it can take months for promises announced in front of the TV cameras in Kyiv to actually materialize. For now, at least, Ukraine's government can still afford to patch up basic infrastructure after each new Russian attack.
Pipe.
But many here in Ukraine
worry
their country's in such bad shape, they might soon need support on a whole different level just to carry on. And that's even before anyone starts counting the costs of eventual rebuilding. Europeans will be asked to make good on their promise to help for as long as it takes. And that could be decades.
Not could. Will be decades. It will be decades. It will be decades. Right? Remember where you are. Remember where you are when you watch the News Underground. When you watch the Ukraine war. Right? Them grandkids will be asking you. No, they won't. No, they won't. They'll be asking about, Belle Daphine's Fortnite skin. Fucking the hedonism will just take over completely. Risk harsh prison terms or leave the country. A tough choices facing Russian dissidents. So, I wanted to show this because it does appear like there's some kind of little bit of mass awareness pushback on it. Moscow has been very careful to not go after the urban folks, keep the urban city centers, the large cities happy. Could you imagine? This would be like America, like all of America went to war, but they left like California alone, and then but they took like they took like half of Texas, but they left California alone. Could you imagine? Oh fuck. But here's some evidence of people standing up to Putin.
Well, early into the war on Ukraine, Russia passed laws making it illegal to criticize the war or the military, or even to describe the war as such. The newly created crimes are punishable by up to 15 years in prison. And though it's hard to know exactly how many people have been arrested and convicted under these laws, numerous high-profile opposition leaders and activists are facing lengthy prison sentences for speaking out against the war. Russian artist Alexandra Skotchilenko is among them. Arrested in April, she's accused of spreading false information about the Russian army. Her associate and fellow activist Maria now joins me for Perspective. Maria, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So can you tell us more about Alexandra's case? What led to her arrest?
So Alexandra was arrested back in April after placing 5 small leaflets stylized as price tags in a supermarket. This was an action that was making rounds all over the internet.
Disgusting. 5 of them at a supermarket. What did they say? End the war? I didn't know Hitler wore fox hats and had pretty hair. Unbelievable.
So she found it, thought it was a good idea because people were already worried about the prices rising. So this could attract their attention to the problem of the war itself. And the price tags were saying, instead of the actual price, for example, this many people died in Mariupol because of Russian attacks, this many Russian soldiers are already dead, and so on. And the court considers this, well, so far we haven't got a sentence yet, but the investigation decided that this is false information and that she was knowingly spreading this, which is, according to the new law, punishable by up to 10 years in prison.
Maria, have you been able to communicate with her? And if so, what are her conditions in prison like? Does she have access to a lawyer or any semblance of defense?
Yes, so luckily she has a very good team of lawyers, although we cannot be sure whether even really good professionals would be able to help her. As far as communication goes, this is a huge problem because she has been in jail for 8 months already, and she has not been allowed a single meeting or phone call to a loved one. But she can receive letters, and we have communication through the lawyer as well.
I understand that she has a medical condition that requires her to have a certain dietary requirements. Is she given access to even that?
Yes, so she has a celiac disease, which is a severe intolerance to gluten, and she still does not get the food that that is actually safe for her to eat.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, I don't need to give you the details on what happens if you have a gluten intolerance and you eat gluten, okay? It's painful, but it's also messy.
We've been trying to secure the access to proper food for 8 months, and there has been some progress, but still the condition does not have the jail does not have the conditions that would provide the food that is safe for her to eat.
I want to turn to you now, Maria, and my understanding you're exiled in Kazakhstan, if I'm correct. Do you risk anything there for your activism or for criticizing the war?
Well, so Kazakhstan has an agreement with Russia, so technically I could be deported, but hopefully this would not happen. But yes, I had to leave the country because of the political situation there, and because of my activism and journalism, yes.
Jesus Christ.
How do you think that Russia's war, more generally speaking, is viewed in Kazakhstan, or if you're familiar with the views in other countries of Central Asia?
Yeah, so in Kazakhstan, obviously, the war affected the country, this country as well, because after the draft was announced, huge numbers of Russians fled Russia, and many of them went to Kazakhstan just because you don't have to get a visa to come here. And my sense is that there is definitely anxiety, and people were both fearing this influx of Russians, not many of whom did not actually support the war, but maybe were just fearing for their own lives, and also definitely just having a border and some territories that in the eyes of some Russian people are contested as well, is definitely a source of, I would not say fear, but maybe anxiety, and people are definitely wary of what is happening in Ukraine and are sort of imagining what would have happened if Russia chose Kazakhstan as a target.
Do you feel that there's any tension within the community of Russian exiles in Kazakhstan between those who perhaps fled the mobilization orders and those who fled, I imagine, for reasons like your own linked to political activism?
I would not say so because maybe there hasn't been a community that's been formed yet. And also, some people are already returning to Russia because there have been announcements that the draft has ended, although we don't have any legal basis to believe that. Yeah, the situation is changing.
That's funny. So you might have a scenario where people are coming back thinking that they're good to go and they get conscripted
all the time. That's what I would say.
To finish, Maria, I'd like to know what's your read on anti-war activism now within Russia nearly 10 months in? Do you think that there are still, or ever was, a substantial number of people trying to do what they can to resist? Do you think there's a generalized feeling of kind of complacency, of powerlessness? How do you read anti-war sentiment in Russia now?
Yeah, it's a very hard question, actually, because obviously with these new draconian laws, it is very hard to express your opinion in any way that is safe at all. As we see with Sasha's case, with Alexandra's case, it is a very dangerous thing to do. So I feel that a lot of people who oppose the war are just scared to express their opinion.
Yeah, of course.
There definitely are some activists who are doing great things, both in just spreading information and in helping.
Man, I mean, the cops have literally comic book dystopia style black motorcycle helmets on. They all have them all on. They all got the black masks on. I mean, it's just, it's comical. It's sad and silly. You know, all of their power is derived from these people. Every ounce of it.
Other activists to leave or to get legal defense. But this is a rather small number of people,
little bicycle
and a lot
helmets.
of us have been forced to leave the country.
Oh, so tough.
I think the mood has changed after the draft was announced, and more people are starting to realize that the war concerns Russians as well. And even if that may not be the most ethical reason to oppose the war, it is a strong one. So I think the situation is changing, and we'll see how it goes.
Maria, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. All the best to you.
Ooh. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be a Russian in a helicopter. I wouldn't want to be a Russian in a tank. I wouldn't want to be a Russian carrying my wounded buddies. And I wouldn't want to be a Russian in Russia. Safe to say, I wouldn't want to be a Russian right now. I tell you, it's an everyday battle between how bad do I feel for these obviously oppressed people in Russia, the civilian populace in Russia, versus their acquiescence to daily brutal murders and a terror campaign without getting in the streets and protesting. I mean, hell, even America protested more during the Iraq War. We didn't protest much during the Afghanistan War. But we got pretty twerked up about the Iraq War. Didn't do anything, but we were mad. Ukraine's Zelensky seeks military emergency aid as allies gather in Paris. So along with the $1 billion in civilian aid, you know, Zelensky was also hitting that money button, and he needs it. He needs every penny, right? This is why I pay my taxes. To defend a legitimate democracy from an invading army. It's a damn shame that we're not doing that everywhere, right? If they're brown and Muslim, or if they're brown and communist, they don't count. If they're brown and Venezuelan, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk to you about an oil deal now that Russia isn't giving us their oil. I don't know. Maybe. You see, it's like, that's why I'm not rushing to move back to the United States. It's like, no, the cycle will continue. It's nice that the clock, the broken clock has been right. And this anomalous situation is It's great. It's great that all the stars have aligned to where the Ukrainian democracy is getting the help it needs. But let's not get it twisted. The United States is not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts, and neither is the Western Alliance.
Affairs commentator Douglas Herbert joins me in the studio. Hello, Doug. Now, you've been following those speeches. What did we just hear from Volodymyr Zelensky?
Well, Zelensky has been repeating the line that he is, basically been trying to hammer home to every single leader and conference and summit that he's addressed multiple times over the last few months, is that Ukraine right in the here and now is in dire need of both aid in the form of humanitarian support, financial support, logistical support, and so on and so forth. And where do you even start is essentially what he...
And to the naysayers who are, peace and love, peace and love. Look, the fact is, the more we give them, the quicker we give it to them, the quicker this conflict ends. Oh, it'll never end. Russia will never accept defeat. Well, that's fine, but they can accept the borders that they're going to have to stay behind, and they'll be staying behind it by force. Oh, they'll continue to throw missiles. Then we'll set up air defense systems, right? But the important thing is that symbolically and physically, Russia needs to be defeated. Symbolically, they need to be cowed, but physically, they need to be pushed back into their borders, right? And then all Ukraine needs to do then is just not invade Russia, which is a pretty easy thing to do.
What his plea has been. Ukraine right now immediately needs, they have been subjected to a fierce and relentless bombardment, almost day by day, bombardment by Russian missiles, by Russian drones, often Iranian-made drones, as reports go, that have basically been deliberately targeting the energy grid, the power grid of Ukraine, that is civilian infrastructure. Russia may deny it, say it's a legitimate military target. The fact is, across Ukraine, thermal, hydroelectric substations, distribution grids, high-voltage power lines have all been destroyed or partially destroyed, plunging millions.
It'll last as long as it needs to last. I mean, with Russia's military being defeated, YouTube Looney asked how long will that, if we push Russia back to their borders, how long will that last? I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? But the alternative is Russia learning that they can, use Bush League lies and deception to, to forcefully invade a country, motherfucking old school style, motherfucking Attila the Hun style, and that he can get away with it by just, throwing around the nuke word a couple times, and and then everyone just, keeps buying oil and they're wholly dependent on it, right? That's kind of what he was expecting. But we can't let Russia learn that lesson that, oh yeah, I can take a whole country. I can just absorb a whole country and there you go. It's mine now. And everyone's just going to deal with it. What am I, Uncle Sam? I mean, how many regions though has the United States annexed in Iraq, Afghanistan, or Vietnam? 0. And I do think that counts for something. That we never put down the American flag and said, welcome to, Afghanaville. And we put a bunch of American-style trailers and a fucking Taco Bell in there. Force a bunch of Americans to go live out in the hot-ass 120-degree desert. Do it for America.
Of Ukrainians, millions across the country into freezing darkness, with a lot more of that to come. He needs air defense systems of a modern kind. He needs more weapons. They need financial aid here and now to help the crews, the repair crews that have been scrambling on the ground. And we reported on this. Our correspondents on the ground reported on this. The crews scrambling to repair these stations, not having enough components, not having enough time. No sooner are they repaired than they're knocked out again. And you have the same power outages, often, Allison, lasting up to 12 hours a day. This is the plea Volodymyr Zelensky is making right now for the international community to step up in the here and now to come to Ukraine's aid, not just in the beyond, in the post-war, which is obviously equally important, but right now this is a country, a war-shattered country, in distress that needs the help and needs it now. And Macron also spoke about this. Macron basically, echoing earlier what Zelensky was saying there's a need for the coordination, real-time coordination on getting that aid to the Ukrainian people in order to support their resistance. That's the
damn. What the hell?
Real-time coordination on getting that aid to the
shit, dude.
Ukrainian people in order to support their resistance. That's the word that was used by the French president, the resistance of the Ukrainian people through a very tough winter and beyond.
And French President Emmanuel Macron is kind of an interesting host for this conference because he's been somewhat controversial on this topic in the past.
Yeah, somewhat. I'll moderate those remarks. He has been controversial, full stop, Allison. And why? He recently said, and obviously has been trying to backpedal, and his remarks today suggest that he believes these remarks are probably taken out of context and overblown, too much hyperbole by a breathless media that has wanted to make him sound like he's more on Russia's side than the Ukrainians. Fact of the matter is, he did say a little over a week back in remarks on French television, in a French television interview while he was on a state visit to the U.S., that security guarantees for Russia, not Ukraine, for Russia, need to be an essential point, an essential part of any eventual peace talks over the war in Ukraine. So basically what he's saying is it's a little bit of that both sidesism. Yes, I sympathize with the Ukrainians. I feel your pain. Obviously, you are a country that's been wronged. You've been violated. You have been invaded. You've been occupied. You're subject to horrific bombardment by the Russians. But at the same time, and this is the phrase that always arises with Emmanuel Macron, at the same time, we have to take into consideration Russia's concerns. And this is echoing the talking points that Vladimir...
And I kind of agree, though, because you know what would be a really great PR move by the United States? Putting a NATO base on the table, right? Or just even a modification, just say, okay, we'll remove a missile. Like, you know, we'll demissile one of these bases, right? If you get out of Ukraine right now, hey, baby, I'll sweeten the deal. Hey, how about this, huh? Hey, I'll get rid of a couple missiles for you, honey. Come on, buy the car. Buy the damn car. You came into the lot 3 times. You looked at it. You asked the price. Look, I'll make it sweeter for you. I'll make it sweeter for you. That's what the United States needs to do. But as I've criticized the United States many times in the past before, and I'll do it again, there's only one. Being a U.S. diplomat is literally the easiest thing in the world, because literally the United States has one single position on literally everything. Do what we say or else. That's their position on the global stage. Play ball with us or else we'll treat you like Cuba. The Ralph Nader of the fucking, world politics. That's how they negotiate. Like, literally, being a U.S. diplomat is like, you don't need any, you need 2 brain cells in a suit.
Vladimir Putin has given to Macron essentially in their series of talks and phone calls and so on and so forth. That obviously infuriated, more than riled, infuriated a lot of Ukrainians. And since then, Emmanuel Macron has been, in essence, backpedaling on those remarks. He's trying to make it clear, no, I am not on Vladimir Putin's side in this war. I am not trying to favor the Russian side. For him, he was simply making a practical comment about eventually these sides will have to negotiate. And Volodymyr Zelensky, right back in Macron's face, he might not be saying it that explicitly, why should we negotiate in any way, shape, or form with a country that has terrorized us, which has destroyed all of our infrastructure on the ground and tried to basically beat our population into submission? That's not a country we could ever negotiate with in good faith. And Emmanuel Macron sort of acknowledged that today. He reiterated that ultimately it is for the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian people alone to decide the conditions and the circumstances under which they ultimately go to the negotiating table. So the implicit reference there being by Macron, the inference being, as long as the territory is occupied, as long as Russia does not recognize the territorial integrity of Ukraine, Ukraine would be fully within its rights not to go to the negotiating table with Vladimir Putin.
And Doug, tell us what is happening on the Russian side. Do we think Vladimir Putin, for example, is following this conference?
He knows it's going on. I don't think he really gives a damn about this conference. He sees this as part of the Western, pro-Western cabal, basically in cahoots with the Nazi-led government, even if he's not using the word Nazi as much these days, the Nazi-led government in Ukraine, and trying to belittle the whole thing. Vladimir Putin is more than ever self-righteous and convinced of the correctness of his own narrative, that Russia is the wrong country, is the wronged nation. Russia is the victim here. We heard his remarks when he was...
Since the very beginning, Russia has teleported the entire world into an alternate dimension where everything they do is great, everything everyone else does is bad. They're the heroes. It's amazing how, And they're sticking to their guns. They're sticking to their guns. It's just, you know, if we repeat it enough times, if we're, as long as we're the winner, even if we're the winner 15 years later, right? That's okay, because we'll just write in the history books that we were great and all that stuff during that 15 years that it wasn't true and none of that happened. It really does feel like that. It's like, well, eventually we'll get a chance to just rewrite history in our favor. So we'll just keep lying and until we get there. Gamer Jam over here saying, if more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world, by J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh, you know, we need a Tom Bombadil, don't we? That's what this world needs, man. A motherfucking Tom Bombadil. Am I right? Looney Flo asking, wonder what world would say and do if America invaded Mexico. Eventually the rest of the world. I mean, that's the thing, Looney Flo. We do these invasions, but it's what a lot of people don't realize is that, and this is the tragedy of United States foreign policy, is that a grand majority, I'm talking well over 80% of our foreign policy, what we're doing in other countries, is really just the military industrial complex justifying its own existence. It needs something to spend some money on. It needs something to blow up. It needs a boogeyman, okay? Because they're not just going to stop. What are we going to do? Just not, you know, we got all these toys. We're just going to make all these toys and not use them, and we're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We can get away with it. The world has acquiesced to the idea that the United States gets to do whatever the hell it wants militarily, right? So Iraq, Afghanistan, and yes, Vietnam. Completely unnecessary wars. It was really just the military industrial complex who needed a war. And there we go. And now we have one. So Russia went into Ukraine to conquer Ukraine and take it, the country. We don't want Iraq. We didn't want Afghanistan. We want a refund, baby. We want our money back. This country's defective. This country's defective. You know what I mean? We didn't take Vietnam. We just waited around until they wanted a McDonald's. So it's different. It is a different paradigm. It is a different how the United States meddles militarily. It's different. When Russia went into Afghanistan, I mean, I think it is fair to say though, the United States and Russia went into Afghanistan for similar reasons, but maybe not. Maybe not, actually. I'm not a very good student of history, so I should probably shut up. I need to go back and read my history books on the Russian-Afghanistan war.
Holding a champagne flute at a reception about a week back where he was basically joking about, he seemed almost like in a glib way, Ukraine started this, Russia has nothing to do with this is our special military operation, everything's going to plan. Right now, Russian troops are hunkering down, digging in their trenches and their front lines over a very brutally efficient new general, Suvorikhin, who was appointed in October, and they have absolutely zero intention of backing down. For Vladimir Putin, maybe the war will go into pause for the winter before an even bigger offensive come spring.
All right, Doug, thank you as always for your analysis.
Interesting.
That's France 24's internet.
Yeah, interesting analysis. I like this guy. He said damn on the news. Oh my God. He said the D word. He said the D word. Getting down. All right, folks, we're near the end of our stream here. Let's check for a Dennis video and see if we're going to end on a Dennis video or a Russian dude video. I've been watching too much Mad TV. I'm sorry. See what we got here. Might be the Enforcer. He's all right, but I'm sorry, the Enforcer. I mean, you're obviously far more popular than me. 5.8K watching. I've been doing this for over 2 years, and I can't even get 10 people to watch my stream. But this guy comes out of fucking nowhere, and he gets 6,000 viewers. So I don't. Clearly he's doing something right. Oh, here we go. Okay. I won't end it on a Dennis video, but looks like we have a new video from the Russian media monitor. That's a good video to go out on. Cool. We'll get that queued up for the end of the stream. Those are always great. All right, real quick, let's just go ahead and jump through our combat footage here. And it's some of it's pretty Pretty hard to watch. Being a Ukrainian soldier in Artromovsk, Bakhmut, the 11th of December, so literally 2 days ago, this was happening. That's rough shit. That's rough shit. Little cringy that he's like filming himself in a dramatic way, you know, but hey, you know, you're going to put your life at risk like this. I guess you deserve to have some dramatic moments, right? But yeah, any one of those explosions could be the end of your life, you know? He's thanking God right there, that the Russians don't have precision munitions. Even worse if you're a Russian, because when you're a Russian, you think you're safe in your hidey hole, and that drone bomb will drop a grenade right at your doorstep, or sometimes right in there. I was looking at footage before I started the stream. I can't show it, but the drone bomb goes right. He had this little hut made out of sticks, you know, because there was no more leaves. Drone operator dropped a grenade right inside the little hut, man. Turned that hut into the guy's coffin. Combat action, 120 millimeter mortar of the Voltat Battalion of Kalinovsky Regiment of Ukrainian Force, 2022. Higher resolution here. Get it sighted in. Ooh, she's a big. That's a big girl. Oof. Such a simple thing, the mortar. You know, a tube, a scope, and the ammo. Damn, dude. The bass on that. Boom. You know, probably right off camera. There's some like, you know, 19-year-old Ukrainian Zoomer on his fucking, you know, like with the drone giving him information on where the shells hit. Modern warfare. Goddamn. Up next here, we have a Ukrainian soldier using the FGM-148 Javelin to neutralize a Russian armored vehicle. This is great. You get the whole, you get to see the whole thing from the guy launching it. I guess DJ Khaled is out in the battlefield right now. DJ Khaled coming at you with a fucking javelin. Man, this guy is everywhere. This guy really is everywhere. DJ Khaled from Ukraine. Look at this explosion. Those javelins don't fuck around, dude. I mean, a Panzerfaust and a bazooka, they'd rattle your teeth, but you know, you could stroll away if you were in a tank, right? You could take a couple hits sometimes, right? Unless it was a really good shot from one of those, right? A javelin, it's just one hit, you're done. I mean, one hit, the whole thing explodes above your tank and showers your tank with thousands of balls. I don't know what the metal, I can't remember the metal that they use, like titanium or something. And it literally turns the vehicle that you're sitting in into Swiss cheese. Bing, 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 bing. It goes through every layer of your vehicle, turns you and the vehicle into cartoonish Swiss cheese. And then it just blows everything up immediately. The ammo, the gas, everything gets shredded, dude. It's the craziest fucking weapon. There it goes. Is it tungsten? I think it's tungsten. That's the metal. That's the metal for the projectiles that go through it. That one looks damaged. Oh, fuck, dude. The precision, the brutality, the finality, and the fact that the guy can pull the trigger as safe as can be. He could be drinking a hot cup of coffee, right? Reading a book. All right, shoot this fucker. Hey, you got it. He's safe. Man, he can't even touch that. The tank can't even touch him. And he just throws a missile out there. Fucking what? $50,000 missile. Shreds a multi-million-dollar tank. Boom. And the whole crew. It's like, you know, it's like I would, you know, I'm having a son. And by the time he's, you know, fighting age, all this shit is going to be normalized and improved and, you know, and efficient and even more swift and brutal. And I'm going to have to show him all this shit. I don't want him thinking war is like a video game, because it's not, dude. It's not. It's like you're walking along and then you are vaporized the next minute. You are shredded. In Bakhmut, a Ukrainian marksman of the 24th Territorial Defense Battalion uses a mirror taped to a stick to spot a Russian machine gunner and later shoots him. So I actually did show this footage. This was the close call footage, but this is cool because there's actually, I think, some translation, but there's actually additional parts of the video that we didn't get to see. He makes a homemade periscope or mirror. He basically ties a shard of a mirror to a stick, figures out where these guys are shooting them from, takes a different position in the building, and opens up on them. We saw little bits and pieces from this video, but it's cool to see it edited differently from a different. I think it's the same perspective though. Как выкупить пулеметчик?
Что? Я тебя же ищу. Разъебам нахуй. О, ты пошел.
Jesus.
Блять, как же тебя достать, пидора? Записывай координаты, записываешь?
Pretty cool.
Вражеский РПГ и пулеметчик.
That's interesting. I think there's no translation here, but I think he's, so he just figured out where the guy is, and I think this is him telling probably his commanding officer or someone in the area these guys' exact location.
Вражеский РПГ и пулеметчик.
But yeah, so in the other video we saw more of him using one of these sheets. It's crazy. He's in someone's house. Someone bought this chair and they bought this cupboard, and they would have their lunches and stuff in here. And now there's this soldier using these, window curtains that, some mother bought for their nice house. And now he's wrapping his sniper rifle in these curtains to better camouflage the rifle that he's going to be using to massacre some Russian soldiers. It's just so surreal. I mean, imagine. I mean, this is someone's house. Someone lives here, right? Imagine the person watching this video. I couldn't even imagine what that would be like. How surreal that would be. Watching a soldier in a gunfight in your bombed out house.
Пидорасы, давайте поиграем, блядь. Сука, выйди на ствол, нахуй. Плюс, корректирую. Я бачу. Готов.
I think the first one was a hit. I think that's what he said. All right, now we got to move. Yep.
Да. Минус пидор.
Yeah, and I think it's him saying, yeah, I hit one. I'm not sure though. I would like to get the full translation of this video. If someone can get a hold of that, that would be really Scooby-Doo. Getting close to the end here. Look, man, if we're sitting here questioning, Looney Flo is over here waxing nostalgic about what if we had robots to fight these wars. But look, if tanks are becoming questionably irrelevant, and they're not irrelevant, they're still a very valuable battlefield tool. But if how you use tanks and how tanks are used on the battlefield has changed so dramatically because of the miniaturization of some of these, anti-tank, anti-air weapons, there's no future for robots in battle. It's gonna cost you $100 million to make a bipedal, a fucking robot soldier, right? That I could blow up with a $50,000 javelin. Could you imagine? You spend $100 million, some big fancy robot gets out to the battlefield, it's kicking ass. One ratty soldier with a javelin catches him off guard, blows his ass away. There goes $100 million. I mean, it would have to be an incredible game changer. Robots and Gundams and stuff. It would have to it would have to be like the drone. The humble drone has literally changed warfare forever. Imagine the drone in World War I. What that would have done to the battle. As they wait, a Ukrainian soldier asks his commander bluntly what their next task will be. The commander replies that they are waiting for a KAMAZ truck. Then, in the second part of the video, the Russian supply truck is getting ambushed by them. Yeah, it'd be Looney. Gundams would be amazing. Yes. Just hold on to that dream, okay? Don't stop believing. Okay? Don't be the cynic like me. We'll get those Gundams one day, buddy. That's one thing I just had to shut my brain off when it comes to the big robot anime is like, how are they affording this? How, how are you affording the parts? Because they'll show one episode, the Gundam gets his arm sliced off or blown up or something, right? And then in the next episode, it's all clean and fully repaired a week later. Are you kidding me? How long would it take to even transport an entire arm for a Gundam? How long would that take to install? And how long would that take to repair and refurbish an entire Gundam after a battle? Oh, yeah, a couple hours. I just had to shut my brain off.
Командир, донеси задачу до особового складу. Що ми робимо? Мы? Пока ждем ебучий КамАЗ.
That's what that shit looks like, boys. Oh, they fucked that truck up, dude. Boy, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we're not seeing this, because what we're hearing is a fucking bloodbath right now. I'm pretty sure that's a troop transport that they're ambushing. I don't think they're getting shot. Does anyone hear any returning fire? I don't hear a single. I don't hear any bullets coming back at them.
Командир, пока ждем ебучий КамАЗ.
They're so close to that truck too. I don't know if that scream that we just heard was from them or the Ukrainian soldiers. But it's so close. It's like right over here. Look at that. Look how close that is, dude. I'm for the Ukrainian democracy. I'm not for Russia's imperialism. Fuck, dude. Fuck, man. You're in Kyiv right now? Goddamn. Well, I hope you take care of yourself and listen to those air raid sirens. They're not, you know, they're not going off for fun. Be careful out there. Good luck. Historical footage of Ukrainian forces fighting retreat across the Dnipro first day of the war. So this is amazing. This is we're getting some of this footage from when the invasion first happened. And man, time and time again, I've heard military analysts point out that a fighting retreat is one of the hardest things to do militarily and strategically for a myriad of reasons, mainly logistics. I haven't seen this video, but it is very interesting to see how this works, because it was very, very smart of Ukraine to retreat when it was sensible. Yeah, you absolutely are. Russia's getting fucked. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. They're getting fucked, you know, by a country 1/25th of their size, by the pocket change from the Western Alliance. This is the best deal Putin, or this is the best deal Joe Biden has ever engaged in, right? Joe Biden is going to defeat Russia, right, without having to send a single U.S. troop in there, right? Because you Ukrainians want this. Ukrainians want democracy. They don't want to be under Russia's boot anymore. You want it. That's the difference. That's why it didn't work in Afghanistan. That's why it didn't work in Vietnam. That's why it didn't work in Iraq. They didn't want democracy. Ukraine wants that shit, and they want it bad. That's the difference. This is nuts, dude. Look at this sick ass footage that we got. We got speed of the vehicle and its GPS coordinates. Fuck. This ain't no TikTok video, y'all. Yeah, and to be fair, Poland has been warning us about Russia's aggression for quite some time, and a lot of you know, the international community wasn't listening. They weren't listening after Crimea either. They weren't listening after Crimea. Well, you know what? To be fair though, the United States was working in secret, not in secret, but you know, under the, you know, kind of under the radar with Ukraine. That's why Kyiv was able to fight back, because the United States and Ukraine was actually ready. Man, it's just crazy. It's really happening. Yeah, well, we know now. Putin has done NATO the biggest favor that NATO has ever needed. Putin has legitimized NATO forever. Wow. Wow. This is footage from the beginning of the war. This is Ukrainian footage of them doing a, what do they call it? A fighting retreat while Russia was, attempting to take Kyiv. Well, initially that airport, I think in Kherson. But yeah. This is them on the move. Apparently, this is footage that has never been released. So this is new footage. They didn't get a lot of footage from when the war started. Yeah, they're hauling ass. They're hauling ass, boy. Yeah, wow. Okay, all right. We got one final video for today. Everyone loves these, right? Russian Media Monitor with another translated clip here from Russian news. Top Russian propagandist warns Russians that this war will touch every household. Really? No kidding. I think they already know that. For some reason, they can still get KFC, but, they can't get McDonald's anymore. And I remember that Russian story. That story about that Russian that was complaining that he wasn't going to be able to get McDonald's anymore. Remember that? Right now, there's an information that military training is underway from Belarus. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Are you are you a male of fighting age? Are you thinking about joining the fight there, Kvertov? Or are you, there's a lot of guys who are sticking around, that are sticking around because they're taking care of family. If you got some grandma or grandpa or someone, grandma or grandpa or someone you got to take care of. No, you're heading out there, huh? When you heading to the front lines, soldier?
Сейчас тот, который стоит, если угодно, на страже мира и на страже веры. Потому что война приобретает абсолютно священный характер.
Вот это кошмар какой-то, я не знаю. Если бы это в 19 веке кто-то услышал, они бы сказали, антихрист пришел. Ну, ребята.
А, он и пришел.
Да, он пришел. Вот, но если это так, то надо и начинать мыслить, хотя бы геополитически.
Oh, it's the Antichrist. Why? Because you're getting your ass kicked?
У нас нет вывода, быть великой державой или не великой державой. Это исторически так понятно, и понятно по положению вещей. Мы сможем защитить себя вот в этом наступающем новом мире после глобализации только в том случае, если будем великой державой.
Ну, вы абсолютно правильно говорите. Надо осознать, что приходят последние времена. Ну так, реально, если говорить. Если говорить языком простым и понятным.
Yeah, it's the end times, Russia. Yeah. Invasion imminent.
То есть мы видим сейчас абсолютное зло.
Absolute evil.
К нему относимся как-то так снисходительно.
What, is he looking in the mirror? Oh!
Не понимая. Да, не понимая
Not realizing the existential threat.
Экзистенциальную угрозу, которая перед нами
стоит. No existential threat for Russia. The only threat for Russia's stability, ironically, is Putin and the Russian government.
А там призыв должен быть год, а вот или два. Не понимаешь, что та война, которая сейчас идет, она придет в каждую семью.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's what this freakazoid wants. He wants total war. He basically is just like, well, we should just start a war with everybody. We want to conquer everybody anyway. Let's just get it over with. Let's just get it going. Yeah, take this guy's advice. Take this guy's advice. That might be the problem, that Putin has been listening too much to this idiot. And Kvertov here is just talking about how the Russian military dressed in the uniform. The Ukrainian military uniforms penetrated almost into the center. They were near my street, and our military destroyed them. Yeah, I mean, there was the rumors. I'm sure they weren't just rumors, but there were people in disguise who were looking for Zelensky, who were looking to, take out Zelensky, the moment they saw him. In Russia, America, China, Russia will always beat Russia. Hey, they did a pretty good job against the Nazis.
Запад,
after they worked with the Nazis to help the Nazis get into power.
И риторика должна поменяться. Меня просто удивляет, что риторика президента звучит одним образом, очень четко, ясно и точно. А людей, которые, ну, как бы на несколько ступеней ниже...
Oh, yeah, we're not up with Putin's brilliance.
От себя.
Ну, послушайте,
это тоже They just don't understand Putin's brilliance, y'all. They just don't get it.
Понятно все. Им же очень сложно внутренне быстро перестроиться. Это, кстати говоря, то, что необходимо делать. Вот, кстати, построение элиты, которая будет адекватна этой войне, которая ведется не только военными средствами. Это действительно экзистенциальная проблема, это экзистенциальная битва.
Well, what are you going to do? Okay, it's existential battle, huh?
Если у нас будет достаточно последовательности, достаточно определенности, если мы перестанем разговаривать в том числе и с народом, с нашим, знаете, ты тоже вот этими словами, которые только все запутывают, а начать говорить уже конкретно.
Конкретно. Там сатанинский, нацистский режим, с которым должна вестись серьезная, полноценная борьба.
Неважно.
Мы не будем...
Yeah, go ahead, bud. This is very close to what they're capable of in terms of full-fledged assault. They're, you know, yeah, they could do a bigger conscription, right? You got to train these people though, and you got to give them equipment. They don't have neither of these things. All the people that are worth a damn that can train these soldiers died in the fucking first wave, and because of their internal corruption and how they procure and manufacture new items for the battlefield, they're severely lacking on supplies. Couple that with the sanctions, and they can't get resupplied. yeah, go full on invasion. Go, you do it. Show us what else you got. How much gas you got left in the tank?
Формулировка, что нет, ну у нас нет задачи сменить там власть. Как нет задачи? Если сейчас сатанинская власть находится,
это, кстати,
как можно ее не менять?
Этот вопрос должен быть решен. Это вся попытка лишить возможности быть великой державой, нас.
Они ставят задачу, как нас уничтожить.
A goal to destroy us. Hey, you know, all we got to do, all we literally have to do is just sit here, and you guys are doing it for us. It's so tragic that you guys are beating yourselves up into oblivion. When will it stop? When war economy is the only way to keep the factories running. Ironically, though, I mean, they just didn't need this. It's like, it's bad for business. It's bad for politics. It's bad for everybody. They just didn't need this. The only one who's interested who really wants this, right, is Putin, who has this cockamamie idea that he's going to rebuild the Russian Empire pre-Soviet Union. Okay, honey, you got like 5 years left on this fucking planet. You're going to rebuild the Russian Empire in 5 years. Okay, Daddy-o.
Класс. А мы это кто?
Мы русские. Мы все, кто принадлежит так или иначе к русскому миру, независимо от этнического
что это такое, да, и так далее. А кто, о чем мы?
Конечно.
Куча вопросов. Это и есть идеология, по сути.
Вот почему наши
The Brady Bunch.
знали ответы на эти
The Brady
вопросы.
Bunch.
У них не возникало. И не возникало такого ощущения, как разрыв поколений. А сейчас, а кто у нас Катихон? Вот на фронтах воюет Катихон.
Да.
Но они кузьмичи. Это люди, ну там, наши с вами ровесники. Да, есть молодежь, конечно.
Молодежь,
но
it's lucrative.
Не в таком количестве.
Там 30-летних очень много среди призванных и среди добровольцев очень
по-разному.
много. Я даже обалдел, сколько 30-летних.
Не, в процентном отношении, к сожалению, мы видим разрыв поколений.
Есть, конечно.
Но мы же, это же не случайный разрыв поколений.
Конечно.
Они же очень долго готовились. Мы почему-то
Suddenly we noticed that we are at war.
На самый простой вопрос.
And whose fault is that? Who's the one that called it a special military operation and a limited mobilization, something like that? Something like that. Oh, someone it's like the people just realized we're actually at war. Yeah, Queertov. Seemingly, I mean, it's amazing. After decades and decades and decades of working within the Western markets, Russia's main export is still oil. And they're still using like oil dredging technology from the 1950s. You guys had all this time. You didn't build any computer chip factories. You know, you got oil and vodka, oil and vodka, oil and vodka. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. We're getting our, you know what I mean? We're diversifying our energy. And they're thinking, oh, the world is just going to run off gas for literally forever. It's so short-sighted.
А мы живем в какую историческую эпоху? Мы живем в историческую эпоху распада Великой
Not only Germany, but India and Turkey, UK, the United States. I mean, there's a lot of Russian oil being bought by the United States and UK still. India is another big one. No, batteries do not. No, I don't. Russia doesn't have time to go electric. I think it does have, really, I think it does have some pretty ample lithium mines, though. I think. Not like Afghanistan or anything, but I think it does have its own source of lithium.
Но все равно это эпоха распада Великой империи. Что показывает опыт распада любой Великой империи? Войны по окраинам, да, войны по окраинам.
Wars on the outskirts, yeah.
Мы идем против, если угодно, ожидания, которое было бы у обычного историка, каким мы
должны были. This guy is such a fucking clown.
Притом это против связано с субъективными двумя моментами. Первое — это с народной памятью о Великой Победе в Великой Отечественной войне, которая сыграла колоссальную роль в начале 2000-х бессмертным полком. Якорь. Да, и второй —
the 2000s one.
Поэтому
which war?
Зеленский во время сейчас пресс-конференции, не пресс-конференции, во время беседы с Ледерманом, да.
I wonder how Letterman feels getting his name tossed around on Russian media.
Когда, там с кем-то, когда-то популярным Дэвидом Ледерманом впрямую призывает к ликвидации нашего президента.
Yeah, wow, yeah, really, no kidding. Can you believe the leader of the country were viciously bombing and, creating mass graves and filling them with bodies? Can you believe the president of the country were violently bombing and victimizing, wants to see our president dead? I mean, the man's a Nazi. The man's a Nazi. We're blowing the shit out of his hospitals and schools, and he has the audacity to call for our leader's death? The nerve on this Zelensky. Oh, man. You better watch out. He might play another piano with his giant dick.
Впрямую.
Чего не понимаю?
Французский генерал к бомбежке парада.
Французский генерал к бомбежке, ясно почему. То есть сама идея, бомбить парад 9 мая, для того, чтобы оправдать поражение нацистов, перечеркнуть. Почему Германия сейчас так радуется участвовать?
That's a great point, Mumbos. Putin's got a lot of... He's got a lot of money in the bank, doesn't he? He could kind of bail his own government out, couldn't he? What would a man like Putin, loves Russia forever? Why would he even need a home outside of Russia? And why would he need to put some of Russia's money in a bank outside of Russia? Why would a man who loves Russia so much do such a thing?
Они же переписывают историю. Нам надо вообще смотреть. Исходя из этого, нам необходимо историческое мышление.
Выйти из ментального американского сектора. Вот как раз
срединная
прослойка, там определенные люди, достигшие положения за последние 20-25 лет, они ментально находятся в этом американском секторе.
Мы должны посмотреть, если нам противостоит триллионный бюджет, можем мы себе позволить сделать так, чтобы наш бюджет на оборону был 50 миллиардов? Или мы должны по-другому распределять? Откуда мы должны взять?
Why you could do 500 billion, honey? You could do 50 trillion. Okay, you could have a money tree. Okay, growing out of Putin's ass. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's just not enough, baby. You gotta get to the talking part of this situation.
Должны ли мы начать активно работать, создавать широчайшую коалицию?
Создать для них проблемы где-нибудь.
Конечно.
Should we? I don't know, guys. It might be a little late for this strategy. I don't know. Should we create a broad-based coalition with who? North Korea and Iran? Who, man? We saw that last little meeting. You couldn't even get some documents signed. Remember the guy walked out during the signing. He didn't want to be obligated to fucking Putin's ego project. Which one was it? Was it Lukashenko that didn't sign? It's a little late to be talking about a broad-based coalition after you fucking shit the bed, okay? Ain't no one want to work with you in this town? Get out of here.
Широчайшую коалицию.
Создать для них проблемы где-нибудь.
Конечно, должны мы...
миллиард. Да.
Совершенно верно. Сократить миллиард, перетягивая его на нашу сторону. Должны ли мы, например, играть...
Dragging some of them to our side.
А не делать постоянный вид, что это не
Playing up their internal strife.
Что мы этим занимаемся.
Ну так наконец-то займемся, что ли?
Да.
Wow. These are the fucking the goddamn brain factories over there. This is pathetic. This is how they're gonna. What are they? They're gonna twist the arm of their, of the few allies they have left to get them to eagerly join the war. That's your plan? Yeah, new world powers. Yemen, Libya, Syria, Burma. Watch out. It's the new axis of evil. Make it the Avengers with. Hey, look, if they're gonna add Venezuela, then they better use their magic Russian technology to bring back Hugo Chavez, because he's a proper Avenger. The Bolivarian Revolution. And our interests just have to align. I mean, it looks and sounds like high school girls talking about how they're gonna marry Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Ain't happening in a million years. Oh, we'll meet at the grocery store and he'll touch my hand and then he'll ask me to go to a movie. Ain't happening, Sally. Okay? It's not happening, Jennifer. Avengers Battle of Russia. Dude, they already have a Russian superhero movie. It's fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious. It's actually on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. I bet you it'll come right up. Russian superhero movie. Yeah, the bear man with the minigun. Yeah, you know what I'm talking. Yeah, Guardians. That's what it is. Let's just get to the bear with the Gatling gun. No, he's the tough guy. I want the bear. The bear is way cool. Here he is. Oh no, is this the tough guy? Oh no. I mean, that's cool. Oh shit, his head was covered in cement. Where's the bear? Here he is. Oh shit! It's not very good CG. Oh! How come this is not a PlayStation 3 game that I can play right now? I'd play the shit out of this PlayStation 3 game. Oh, so that's his power? That's his power? He's stone? That's cool. I kind of want to watch this movie now. It looks awesome. It looks fucking awesome, dude. Do you think Putin went into war thinking that this he was watching this movie, he was like, let's do it. Fuck it, guys. Like, let's do it. He's all joking around with his commanders watching this movie. They're like, what if we just invaded Ukraine? Should we do it? Oh my God, should we do it? He has rocks on his... Okay, I want to see this movie. I'm going to go watch this movie. All right, big motherfucking props to Mumbo's trusted advisor. You're awesome. Big props going to go over to Querdov over there in Kyiv. Amazing job. Thank you, Querdov. Love to see you. Good luck out there. Querdov says he's going to be heading over to the front lines. Godspeed and good luck. And good fucking luck. Well, everybody, I've been Abandoned Nihilism. This has been the News Underground. Somehow, some way, you found real news on Twitch. Congratulations. I'll be doing more short streams throughout the week, and of course, the big stream on Saturday. So make sure you tune in. Remember, you got to stay informed. You got to join a progressive political organization, and you got to put in the work, because the fascists are putting in the work. Every day you're sleeping, the fascists are marching. We got to beat them to it. So thank you for coming. Have yourself a good night. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East, and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Peace out.